The opposition with 50% of the votes or 55% of the votes can form the government. But now, the opposition would have to win at least 60% minimum. 60% to form the government, even then with a simple majority, without 2/3. The gerrymandering is such that Barisan Nasional, with a mere 40% of the votes, can still form the government. And they know it's impossible for the opposition to get 60%. It cannot be done unless we can get, number one, more people to register and more people to vote. Number two, unless we can conquer East Malaysia. That is actually a bigger problem. We cut Malaysia into East and West, or Peninsula. In Peninsular Malaysia, we got 165 parliament seats. In East Malaysia, we got 57 parliament seats. 165 parliament seats in West Malaysia is split down the middle. About 80 seats belong to Pakatan, about 80 over seats belong to Barisan. So the 165 is already well divided, almost half-half. Maybe 2 or 3 seats difference. But in East Malaysia, out of 57, 55 are with the ruling party. Only 2 are with the opposition. Whoever wants to form the next government has to first of all win Sabah Sarawak. And Barisan Nasional has already said Sabah Sarawak are their fixed deposits. That came from Barisan Nasional, which means the key to Putrajaya is in the hands of Sabah Sarawak. And whoever rules Sabah Sarawak will rule the whole of Malaysia. And currently, we do not see the opposition making any headway in Sabah Sarawak. Now, one bone of contention which we have, the MCLM. Why do we play the race and religion game in Sabah Sarawak? The Muslims are a minority in Sabah Sarawak. Yet, the opposition, in particular Anwar Ibrahim, wants a Muslim to head Sabah and Sarawak. There are a lot of Christians in Sabah Sarawak, very angry Christians. The issue of body snatching, the issue of Christians can't use the word Allah in the Quran, and even the Malay language version of the Quran cannot be printed, and all those kind of things. So they're very angry. Now they want change because they want religious freedom, they want equality. And here we are upsetting them further by stressing that only a Muslim can lead Sabah and Sarawak. Now we feel the opposition is gambling. Gambling with the sentiments of the East Malaysians, thinking that the East Malaysians will support change, but the East Malaysians are not prepared to support change if what they see is just one federal government exchanged for another federal government, or one colonial party exchanged for another colonial party. What they want is autonomy. What they want is to respect the spirit of the 20-point and 18-point agreement signed before Sabah Sarawak became part of Malaysia. They do not want to be treated as one of the 13 states, because they were never one of the states. They were equal to Malaya, not equal to Selangor, Perak, Penang, or whatever. And this seems to be an issue which the opposition cannot address. So what I'm saying is, for the opposition to form the next government, they must increase their current 80 seats to at least 130. Yeah? We're talking about another, 40, maybe 50 seats which the opposition has to get. They cannot get those seats in West Malaysia. They have to get those seats from East Malaysia. UMNO. Yeah? We're talking about UMNO in West Malaysia. How can UMNO run the country with 70 over seats? How can UMNO come up with a new economic policy that discriminates against the Chinese and Indians? It is almost like South Africa's apartheid. Alright? Or Hong Kong in those days. Chinese and dogs not allowed. So it's discrimination. But why do the Chinese allow it? Now with 70 over seats which the Chinese have, which UMNO has, and another 70, slightly under 70 seats which the non-Malays, the Chinese, Indians, Kadazan, Dayaks and everything have. That's how UMNO holds power. UMNO holds power through Barisan Nasional, not through UMNO. But if MCA, which has 15 seats, Gerakan, which has 3, MIC, which has 2, there's total 20 seats. If they pull out because they are objecting or protesting against the racial discrimination, and if the Christians and the Ibans and the Dayaks of Sabah and Sarawak also pull out because of the discrimination they also suffer, with 70 seats, UMNO will be now the opposition. And all these things like NEP, Article 153, everything can end overnight. The people who are perpetuating the new economic policy are not the Malays. It is the Chinese, the Indians, the Dayaks, the Kadazans, the Dusuns, basically the natives from Sabah and Sarawak. They are the ones perpetuating the NEP. And then I have my Chinese friends screaming, say, why lah, you Malays like that? I say, hey, poda. What we Malays? We Malays are opposition lah. We got 80 over there in the opposition. You say, yeah, but the government is what? UMNO 70 seats against us 80 over seats. But the 70 over seats who are with UMNO, they are the problem. So who is keeping the NEP alive? The Chinese, the Indians, and the others. The Sabah voters are ready to change, but they don't have the guts to change. What they want to do is to first see whether the change comes in West Malaysia. If the change comes, they'll walk over. But if they walk over now, and you're still not going to form the federal government, it's like sending them out to be massacred, because there's going to be no backup. So they need to see that if I join you, you and me combined, we got enough majority to form government. Then they join. But if I join you and we still don't have enough majority, I better play safe, stick with the government, at least I can get money. That is the attitude of Sabah and Sarawak. So yes, it's not easy to reach them, but we can reach. Now, we need an ombudsman. And we want the opposition to commit itself to this. And we want people in that ombudsman who are going to be brutal towards corrupt officers, freeze their assets, impound their passport, do whatever, but go for them. But again, the opposition says if we were to say that, nobody in government will vote for us, because these are all corrupt officers and they'll be scared of seeing us in power. So they're saying, no, we won't do this, we'll compromise and stuff like that. But unless the opposition is prepared to take some very unpopular steps or make unpopular decisions, and that is all in the interest of eliminating corruption, unless the opposition is prepared not to play politics, just to make the government officers feel safe and secure so that they continue to get our support, then I don't think if the opposition takes over, we're going to eliminate corruption. You look at Selangor. There's still a very high level of corruption in Selangor, in spite of what the opposition says. I personally know of many cases where even some within the present government are involved in corruption, and this upsets us. And that's why we want the opposition to commit itself before election, not after election. If not, it's just going to be the same old wine in a new bottle. It's not going to taste any better just because the bottle looks nicer.